What's up, guys? What's up? My name is Sam, live production tips and tools here. Another surprise live stream about the new Blackmagic URSA Broadcast G2 that I just got the announcement video, and I just want to share with you guys. Just be able to watch it together and react at the same time. Again, Blackmagic, it's not stopping bringing new products for live streaming and broadcast, video recording, filmmaking. So guys, in this live stream, we're just gonna watch the announcement video together and probably be able to give you some inputs and insights and some reaction as well. So let's go ahead and start the video. So let's see. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Graham from Blackmagic Design. In this update, I wanted to talk about URSA Broadcast. I'll be showing you a whole new URSA Broadcast today, so it's really exciting. However, before I start, I wanted to talk about microconverters. As you know, we have the three Sdi Models, and they support both SD and HD television standards. But we've been working really hard on Ultra HD. So we have three new models today. They're all 12 Sdi, which means we'll have three Sdi models, and we'll have three 12 Sdi models in the family. So that's 6 models in total. Now you can see the 12 Sdi models here, if you can just pan across a little. They've got the exact same features as the three Sdi models. They're still powered by USB, so they're very simple to use. So the first one you can see here is the Microconverter Hdmi Sdi. Now that's great for connecting consumer cameras to SDI or converting the computer output to SDI because computers have HDMI. The next one you can see is the Microconverter SDI to HDMI 12G. Now that's the best one for monitoring, of course. It even has a 3D LUT, like the 3G SDI model has. So it's great for adding like a LUT for monitoring, which means you can use a TV or a computer display for broadcast monitoring. And then the last one on the side here is the Microconverter Bidirect SDI to HDMI, SDI HDMI 12G. Now that's a bidirectional model. It converts in both directions at the same time. And just like the 3G SDI model, it can do 2 different standards in each direction. So like you could have a HD conversion in one direction and an Ultra HD conversion in the other directions. Now these 12G SDI models support SDHD and Ultra HD conversions. But there is a new feature on the bidirectional model, on the 12G model, that the 3G model doesn't have. It actually has a 3D lookup table in the SDI to HDMI conversion path. So you can use the SDI to HDMI conversion for monitoring. That's really nice. Now the bidirectional 12G also supports the camera control like the 3G model does. So you can add it to a HDMI camera and it'll actually convert the control information to the SDI. And then you can connect a HDMI camera to an SDI switcher with all the camera control. So that would mean a big constellation switcher could actually control a HDMI camera. Now it even works the other way. So you can actually have like an SDI camera plugged into an A10 Mini, which is a HDMI switcher. And these new models are available today. Now the Microconverter Hdmi to SDI 12G will be priced from $109. The Microconverter SDI to HDMI 12G will be, with the 3D LUT, will be priced from $129. And the Microconverter Bidirect SDI HDMI 12G will be priced from $149. They cost slightly more if you want to buy them with a power supply included. I think these new Microconverter 12G models are going to be very useful, and I think they'll be very popular. Okay, so now I'd like to talk about URSA Broadcast. Now the old model has done really well, however it's been 2 years since we ordered sensors and they still haven't arrived. So it's been months since we've been able to build the camera, so it's caused a bit of a problem. So what we did is we worked really hard to update the design to a whole new model. We've been kind of working on it anyway, but now this is what I'd like to show you, this new model today. Now this new model will replace the old Blackmagic URSA Broadcast. This new model is called Blackmagic URSA Broadcast G2. It's the next generation of URSA Broadcast. So it might look similar, but it's a whole new design internally. It's really 3 cameras in one. It's a broadcast camera, it's a live studio camera, but it's also now a cinema camera. And we've learned so much from the original model, so we've been able to make a lot of improvements and add those into the new model. Now the new URSA Broadcast G2 is actually here. This is the model. You can see it looks very similar. You can see the camera body is the same. It's a bit deceiving because it's so different internally, but it means you can use the same accessories, which I think is going to be really important. So if you want to upgrade the camera body, you can move the accessories over. That'll save a lot of money. So you get the benefits of the new sensor without all the cost. Plus it's the same footprint as URSA Mini Pros, so you can use all the wide range of third-party accessories as well. So I'll turn the camera around. I'll unplug it here so you can see. So you can see it's got the same similar controls on the side. These controls can be accessed by feel, which is really great when it's shoulder mounted. So let's have a look at the back here. I'll swing it around. You can get a close up of that. Is that a good shot there? You can see if you can get that there. So you can see on the rear, we've got the 12G SDI camera video output. We've also got the 12G SDI input for program return. The 12G SDI input is what includes all the camera control from the switcher so that you can control the camera from the switcher. Now, both the SDI connections are used for talkback to and from the camera. We use channels 15 and 16 to do that. There's a reference input there. There's also a headphone socket. Now, the headphone socket supports a microphone, so it can be used for talkback. There's an XLR broadcast power connector, which is standard 12 volt, and it also comes with a power supply. And you'll notice on the bottom, there's also a USB-C connection on the rear, and that can be used for a lot of things, but the most important is recording to external USB disks. It lets you record to a USB flash disk, then you can move that disk across to a computer to start editing. So you don't need to copy any files before editing because you just use the disk you've actually recorded onto. So it's so much faster. Now on the top here, I might see if I can get that on the top shot there. They've got an overhead view. You can see there's two XLR professional audio inputs under the cover there. These are really low noise, and good quality audio is obviously really important on a broadcast camera. And they also include phantom power. So if I swing around to the front, you can see it's the similar lens mounts. I'll show you the side. On the side here, it's got a fold-out display. You can see it there. Now, if I look in the side, if you can get a shot of that, you can see it's basically got the same media. It's got the CFast 2.0 and the SD card support, so you can use the same media as the older model. Plus, it also has built-in ND filters, so you don't need to carry extra stuff around when you're doing a shoot. That's because the ND filters are built into the camera. So that's all the stuff that we've really carried across from the older model. So let's talk about what the improvements are with the new model. So what's new? So obviously, it's got a new sensor. It comes with the B4 lens mount for 2/3-inch B4 broadcast lenses. And so the camera is actually a 4K camera when it's used with a B4 lens, but the sensor is actually 6K, so it's a 6K sensor. So you can use a larger area when you change the lens mount. So say if you wanted to change the lens to an EF or a PL or an F mount, then it's a 6K camera because you've got a larger lens. But if you put a B4 broadcast lens on it, then the aperture's smaller, so it's a 4K camera. So I think it's kind of exciting because you can go beyond 4K. So we're going to include, to really help this, we're going to include an extra EF lens mount in with the camera. And in fact, I'll show you. I've got I'll move the little microconverters over here. Actually, I'll put them away. And I've got a version of the URSA Broadcast G2 here with an EF lens mount. So it's got a photography lens on the front, and you can see if I take off the lens, you can see the sensor in the front there. If you can get whoops, I'm getting myself a bit tangled up here. So if I bring that around, if you can get a shot of the front there, you can see. And I can show you the ND filters, so you can see those. So it comes standard with a B4 mount, but we have a spare EF lens mount in the box. I'll put that back on again. There it is there. So yeah, it has the EF lens mount in the box with the camera, and so it's really good if you're starting out and you wanted to use a photo lens. You could basically change the lens mount and then put a photography lens on there, or you could put a PL mount, which you can purchase separately and use cinema lenses. Or you can use those broadcast Cine Servo lenses, which also use PL mount. But for cinema camera work, you can use really top quality Cine Prime lenses. It's really quite flexible. So you can see it's a broadcast camera, but it's also a digital film camera. Now for television, it's also a HD camera as well as an Ultra HD camera, and that's pretty important because most broadcasters are running HD, and there's lots of cheap second-hand HD lenses around. Now the camera has amazing low light, which is really important for shooting in ambient light. You really can't control the sort of lighting conditions when you're doing ENG work. Plus, you're often outdoors at night. So it's 25,600 ISO, which means you can add a lot of gain. It's dual native ISO for low light sensitivity, and that's 0 dB and 18 dB, or it's kind of 400 ISO and 3,200 ISO in the different language. There's also 13 stops of dynamic range, so it's much better than the older model. It's an amazing low light camera now. Now, we've also done some work on the codecs. The new model has an amazing range of codecs. It supports Blackmagic RAW for the highest quality, which is really great when you're doing post-production. But it's also got, and it's great for cinema quality if you're doing cinema work. But it also includes ProRes for more traditional video workflows. But what we've done now is we've added a H65 and a H264 codec, so for much smaller file sizes. And that's what's new. So the other thing we've done is we've actually added the H64 Sdi and the H65 Sdi formats. Now, these are like professional versions of those codecs. Normally, H64 and 5 codecs are 8-bit 420, which is fantastic for streaming and archive. But if and it's also pretty good for a lot of camera files. It's tight and compact. But our SDI versions of the codec are 422 and 10-bit. Plus, they have quite low compression rates. They're very high quality. And the reason we've called it SDI is because it's the same video quality as SDI video, which is also 422 10-bit. So it's the same quality as the video connection that's used through broadcast. Now, these new H64 and H65 formats will be great for broadcasters who want to shoot Ultra HD with HD-sized files, because I think it's going to be really useful. And it makes it really easy to transition to Ultra HD, because it means you can shoot Ultra HD all the time, even if you only broadcast in HD, because the files are so small, it's no real big deal to use Ultra HD. So I think it's pretty exciting. Plus, all modern computers can handle H64 and H65 files now really well. They're very fast to use. They're really snappy. And so they're really great to edit with, and they don't take a lot of space. It's the perfect file format for broadcast. So what I'll do is I'll show you the codec menu. So if I'll bring this screen up and I'll position myself here. I've got an overhead camera here. Oops, there I am there. So what I can do is I can go into the menu. All right, so you can see it's already on the codec menu. So let's set it to H65, which is over here. And then we want to set it to H65, which lets us use Ultra HD. Generally use H65 for Ultra HD and H64 for HD. Now let's put the SD card in so we can record on it. And so let's now go and do a recording. So I'll come out of the menu and I'll start recording by pushing the button there. Now you can see I'm doing a recording. Now you can see it's actually possible now to do an Ultra HD recording on an SD card, which I think is amazing. Now SD cards are the lowest cost media available, and it all works in Ultra HD, which is what I'm doing here. So I'll move the camera around a little bit. So you can see we're really doing that. That's all in Ultra HD recording now. So I'll take the card out, we'll stop the recording, and we'll take the card out, and we can move it across the computer. And you can see this all just works. So I'll put the card over in the computer here. I've got SD card slots in them now. And I can come in here and open up the, so you can cut across to the media. So I can go to there's the card there, open that. So you can see the clip. I can drop it in the timeline. And you can see I've got, so you can really see how nice it is to edit with. It's just so wonderful, you know, trimming, and it's just really nice. They just work so beautifully, these files. And if any time you want to do some color correction, you can just come across here and, you know, do some of the color. Of course, I'm not a colorist. Can you imagine using this workflow for documentaries? You know, if you use the camera in Ultra HD, anything you shoot can be used in a film. You know, the line between news and film becomes quite blurred. And that's what's really exciting about the H65 and H64 codecs, you know. When you combine H65, Ultra HD, and film gamma, everything you shoot is film. You know, the camera, so it's wonderful. So the camera also supports USB disks. Now, the great thing about USB flash disks, they're very big, so you can store like a whole job on them. So you can just keep shooting for days on the same disk. That's why we put a dedicated USB port on the back of the camera. It's a better place to mount external media disks. I've got a media disk here that I can plug in. So here's a flash disk here. If I plug into here, let's go back and choose Blackmagic RAW for that. So I'll set a nice Blackmagic RAW format. And so it's really exciting. So we, you know, shooting with Blackmagic RAW is obviously cinema quality. So let's do a recording to the disk. There it is there. Now I'm recording directly to this flash disk. So you can see the LCD there in the overhead display. Leave it in a better shot there. So it's really exciting, and it means that, you know, you basically can just keep recording to the disk, and then you can move it across to your editing system. And, you know, these USB disks are so big, and they're very fast too. I'll stop the recording. Now there is one new accessory that has changed. I'll unplug this disk actually. The URSA Broadcast G2 uses a new Ssd recorder. It uses the URSA Mini recorder, which is a different version than the previous model of the URSA Broadcast. It's actually USB based. It plugs in the USB connector on the rear of the camera. I can bring it out and show you. There it is there. Now it mounts between the battery plate on the camera and the camera, so it mounts in between there. So it becomes part of the camera, and so it moves around with the camera. So you can see it there. There it is there, and the SSD goes on the top when it's mounted there. Now it's the same one that's used on the URSA Mini Pro 12K. It supports SSDs, so you can use the same large media disks you've used previously, but it also supports U.2 disks, which are very, very fast. So this is a much nicer design. It provides more options for the record media. So there's the USB port on the bottom. So there's so many different types of media that this new camera can use now when you consider all these different options together. I mean, it can use SSDs, it can use U.2 disks, it can use CFast 2.0 cards, it can use SD cards, it can use UHS 2 cards, which is a sort of faster version of SD cards, and it can use USB external disks as well. So it's amazing. And then with Blackmagic RAW, ProRes, and H64 and H65, you get like the best range of codec formats or file formats available, which is really why it's 3 cameras in one. You know, you could shoot a commercial in Blackmagic RAW and then shoot a news show, story in H65. You can do it all in Ultra HD, so your media is future-proof. And the H65 doesn't take up a lot of space on media servers, so it's pretty nice. I'll move these aside. Now, we've got a new version of Blackmagic OS that's running in the camera. It's an updated, it's got some updates. There's lots of small improvements and features. Blackmagic OS makes this camera so nice to use. There's lots of controls, on-screen controls that you've got, and you can use the touchscreen to access them. I can show you some of them here if you haven't seen this before, although they're kind of similar to the previous model, but there's a lot of little updates. So you can see the heads-up display there. So you can see the shutter speed is there, and it comes up on the bottom. You can also see the gain, which is there. So the gain settings are there. You can access them directly. There's also the color temperature over the side here. So that comes up, and you've got some presets as well. Now, the audio level is actually done from the meters down there, so you can just access the audio meters there, and you can actually hear me talking because it's being picked up on the microphones. Now, to access menus, you just use the menu button, which is on the side here. So you can see it there. And so you can see all the different menus.
My friend, I'm not back to camcorders, but you know, this is actually a real camcorder that I will stand behind. All right, let's keep watching. Let's keep watching.
And along the top is the different settings. So you've obviously got the record settings, you've got the monitor settings there, then you've got the audio settings, and you can actually see the meters in there. You've got some setups. There's a lot of setups. You can see along the bottom, there's a lot of page of setups now. There's a lot of things in here. You can see the presets. You can load camera presets.
This is
and
good
the presets
stuff,
can
my
be saved
friend.
and moved between cameras. And also there's 3D lookup tables because you've got 3D lookup tables, and there's some in the camera. And you can load 3D lookup tables from DaVinci Resolve systems. Now, if I go out of the menus, you can see another nice new feature is we have an Rgb histogram. So it shows the clipping in any specific RGB channel. So I've got the adjustment on the side here set to iris. So I can move it around. It's a bit dark. Let me put some gain in here, and I'll put in, oh, that's very bright. That's too much. So now as I adjust the histogram, so I'll darken it down a bit. You can see you get a shot of that there. You can see the different channels. It's probably not the best thing to be viewing, but you can see it's RGB now. Lenses, there's a lot more that actually URSA Broadcast can do with lenses. That's because it actually works with the Blackmagic focus and zoom demands, which means you can control any broadcast or photography lens. So let me I've got the camera set up as a studio camera, so I'll bring it across here. So you can see here it is here. Now, you can see this is rigged as a studio camera, so it's the same camera with the studio viewfinder and everything. Now, we're just about to start shipping the focus and zoom demands. We had some part supply issues, like has been happening recently. And so we're just getting them to market really soon. I think the zoom demand's actually shipping just about now. But they work really good with URSA Broadcast G2. And of course, many broadcast lenses actually have options for like focus and zoom demands. You can buy them for the lens, but that only works with the lens you buy them for. Plus they cost a lot of money, whereas the Blackmagic focus and zoom demands will work with any lens. So it's much more flexible. They can even control photographic lenses. They can control older broadcast lenses. Any lens that can be controlled, like, has motor controls in it, can be controlled. So it's much, much wider what you can do with these ones because they talk to the camera with USB. So let me show you. So what I'll do is I'll just pan this camera around. We've got a camera over the back here that can swing around and get a shot of the viewfinder. So you can see me over here. So you can see this is a broadcast lens on URSA Broadcast with the focus and zoom demands plugged into the USB. And so as I'm moving in, you can see I've got really nice control there. It's a beautifully smooth control. It's really very nice. So you can see I can crawl in very slowly, or I can move in much faster. Oops, it's going right out there. And you can see the focus is really nice. So what's really exciting too is that the B4 and PL servo lenses actually now, there's a new feature we have. They support jumping to zoom points. So you can program specific zoom and focus settings, and you can recall the preset with a button on the bottom of the focus and zoom demand. So that gets set in the menu. I'll show it on the camera over here actually because I've got the above view. So if I go back into the menus, I can go to setups and I can go, I've got a page back through. There's a lot of setups in here. Oops, I think I just went past it. There they are. Oops, there. So what you can see is they're not actually enabled on here because I don't have the controls plugged in. But what I've got is I can plug in, I can preset different buttons on the focus and zoom demands, as you can see in the menu. This is part of the new updates in Blackmagic OS. And I can, the buttons 2 and 3 are the ones on the bottom of the zoom demand. So I can set those to be the jump, to jump to the specific points. And they're very easy to program. So I'll come back across to the camera and actually show how it works. So if you just, so all you need to do is if you can get a shot there, I don't know if you can see that shot there. So if I go in, I can set the, you just press the button and then hold it to set it to a different zoom point. So I'll go in to that there, focus, and if I now push this, I've programmed the 2 bottom buttons here for the jump points. So I've got both of them as different ones. So if I hold that in, and now it'll preset it. So if I zoom back, it'll go back to that point. See, there it is there. And if I focus this, if I do the second one, so I'll come out a bit, and I'll refocus because that's got different focus point. If I do the second one, now I've got this set to do both the zoom and the focus. You can set them individually as well. So now if I go in on the first button, I push the first button, I can basically use the buttons to recall both the zoom and focus that I just created. And if I come out on the second button, you can see it comes out and it goes in. So you can see how they work. It's really nice. And if you go to a different shot, you can still go back to the setting you had just by pushing those 2 buttons there. And the great thing is it's really, you can change the preset on the button by holding it any time you like. So it's great to use while you're, while you're doing a live production. So if you move back a bit and then you just decide you want to redo that one, you can just hold the button and preset it, and now you can see that they're, that's the new spot. So it's very easy to do. It's very easy to set while you're doing it when the camera's on air, because you can just keep updating it as in a live job. You can just keep going. Now there's also another new feature which is really exciting, and it's basically a quick zoom feature with these lenses. Parfocal lenses often you zoom in to get the focus accurate, and obviously because it's parfocal, it's the focus is accurate over the whole zoom range. Now what we've done by default, we've actually set this by default on the zoom demand, but the buttons on the side, we've set them to be like a quick zoom in. So if I come back around the side here again, it's a little bit clumsy, this demo. So if I'm kind of working and I want to do a quick focus, all I need to do is push this button and it crashes in, and I can then focus quickly like that, and I can come back out again. It's releasing the button, it comes back out again. So it's really quite exciting. You can do this, anytime you need to go right in, you can just go in, crash in, do your focus, and it comes back out again, go in, come back out again. So it's pretty cool. So I don't know if you can see that. So it's really exciting. You can just, do that anytime you like. It shows how powerful these focus and zoom demands are. They even work with these really big, large box lenses. Now I've got one of those cameras over here, so if you can sort of pan across. Now you can see it's rigged up with one of these really big box lenses, and I can adjust the focus and zoom demands, which are the Blackmagic focus and zoom demands, and you can see they beautifully control. See how nice it is. I can go in. I mean, these lenses are crazy. Look at this. Turn up some more of that. Really nice control. So you can see it there. I get a bit more focus peeking in because I can adjust that on the viewfinder. So it's really nice. And I can come out. You can see how smoothly I can also do the crash zoom on the side there. These lenses are crazy. So I can come out. So it's just so beautiful. So I can come out wide and I can do another crash zoom when I want to focus. I've got really nice focus control. They're a wonderful lens to use. They're amazing. And you can also see I've got a Blackmagic fiber converter on the back of the camera here. It converts SMPTE fiber to up to 2 kilometers away. It converts the camera to SMPTE fiber. It bolts on where the battery plate is. Now the SMPTE fiber link's actually a 10G Ethernet cable. So it has really nice studio camera features at the back of the camera as well. I see if you can get a shot of that. So you get extra audio inputs. You've got more talkback controls on the top here. You've also got 2 talkback headsets you can plug in. One for regular talkback and one for engineering talkback. So it's really nice. You get a really true professional studio camera features built into the back. And there's information on how all this works on the URSA Broadcast G2 website. So I'll just come back over. So you can see how much power this camera has. We think it's going to be really exciting. It costs slightly more than the old model though. That's because it's a lot more powerful. Now, I'll just move this out of the way. Now the Blackmagic URSA Broadcast G2 will be priced at $3,995.
Wow.
It'll be available today.
Wow,
I think it's such a
guys,
nice replacement for the original URSA Broadcast. It retains its ease of use, but it's a whole new camera internally. It's a much better image quality. It's got much better low light capability. It's got a wider dynamic range. It has the new H64 and H65 codecs. It can record Ultra HD onto an SD card. Plus you get all the accessories included. There's a whole bunch of accessories included. The top handles included, the shoulder mounts included, plus the V-Lock battery plate is actually installed on the back of the camera. So it's all set up, ready to go. Plus you get the spare EF lens mount when you want to use photo lenses. So we do have one more feature to show. This is not available yet. We've been working hard on it. The URSA Broadcast G2 actually has live streaming built in. Now we'll ship that probably early in the new year, but I wanted to show you now. It'll be a free software update for URSA Broadcast G2. Strange because it's really one camera. Where it's really the most powerful is when you're streaming to a switcher. And that really is where Htmi Streaming Bridge comes in. Now we have a web presenter product that can stream to a streaming bridge. And what the streaming bridge does, and now we can use it with the camera. So what the streaming bridge does is it receives a live video stream and converts it to video. The Htmi Streaming Bridge actually looks a bit like YouTube server, but it's actually just this small converter. So then what you do is you connect the video output of the converter to the switcher. And now the camera can actually stream over the internet to your switcher's input via this converter. The switcher then live streams to YouTube, because you can switch between cameras and add graphics and actually create your show on the switcher. But you can imagine running a whole bunch of live remote cameras all from your studio. And the cameras can be placed anywhere in the world. It's all built into URSA Broadcast G2. Now what's really exciting, and that's very useful, but what's really exciting is that's not all it can do. You've noticed on the streaming bridge, if you can get a shot of it, it actually has an Sdi reference input, which is a little unusual. Normally, it's a standard industry reference input, but this actually has an Sdi reference input, and it's for more than just reference. So if you connect this to your Htmi switcher, it'll actually receive the tally and camera control. And the Htmi streaming bridge will basically receive a live stream from the camera, but it'll send the tally and camera control back up to the camera, almost in the opposite direction of the video stream. So it's not just receiving the video stream and converting to video, it's feeding it back the other way. Now, it basically works the same way as connecting the Sdi from the switcher to the camera control. When you plug a switcher into the camera directly using the program return, it's the same as that, but obviously you can't do that with remote cameras because they're too far away. You're using a streaming link to do it. So normally you don't get camera control when you've got remote cameras. And so, I've seen broadcasters that I've watched use a phone. They just call the studio on the phone to, or the studio calls them to tell them to focus and do other things on the camera. But now the camera control can be sent back to the camera live. Now the control includes things like lens, focus, and zoom. You can also set gain and other settings from the studio. You can even control the built-in color corrector from the studio. But the most exciting part is actually the tally light. The tally light works so the talent knows when they're on air. So let's check it out. It's really pretty cool. So what I'll do is, in fact, I've got the camera running on battery, so it's unplugged from the power. So let's sort of simulate a remote camera by running it on battery power. And we'll use a phone as the internet connection. So I have a phone here. So
guys, this is cool.
And what we'll do is we'll use the phone mobile data with tethering. So what I'll do is I'll plug
live streaming exchanger.
The other thing too I should mention is that you can also use the USB adapter to use it on your local network, which plugs into the USB port on the back. And then you can, there's the adapter there. It's just a standard USB to Ethernet adapter. And then if the camera's on the local network, by using this adapter, you can actually see all the streaming bridges and you actually browse them. And the camera will find them automatically because they're in a list because it's used on Jura to find them. Now that's great in, like, say if you're in convention centers or universities and you've got, you might have multiple cameras moving all over the place in different buildings or different theaters, but you've got a centralized control room. You can just plug the cameras in the network and then it'll find the streaming bridges and you'll be able to see them, and then the control room can take the cameras. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's simulate a remote camera, which is what we use with the mobile phone and mobile data. So if I plug this phone into the USB port,
wow!
Now
this is fire.
In, and the camera can see the internet via the phone. It also keeps the phone charged. It's actually started charging the phone when it's plugged in. So, and what it'll do is it'll come up as mobile data. Now, what we need to do is we need to tell the camera where the streaming bridge is, because this streaming bridge is back in the studio and it could be anywhere on the internet. So once we've installed one on the switch, in fact, we've got one on the switcher behind me. This switcher behind me has a streaming bridge connected to it. It's a Constellation switcher with a multi-view visible on the screen. It's got a 1ME, if I move out of the way, it's got a 1ME advanced panel and an ATEM camera control panel. It also has an ATEM streaming bridge connected to input 2, which is currently dark. It's, it's black because there's no stream coming in. So all I need to do is tell the camera where this switcher is. Now that's easy because the ATEM streaming bridge can actually create a file which tells can tell the camera where it is. It's the same file that the web presenter uses. The streaming bridge can create the file and give it to the web presenter. The web presenter can load that in, and now it knows where to stream to talk to the streaming bridge. It's the same thing, and it basically tells you where the streaming bridge is on the internet. So I've saved a file here, and it's on an SD card. So there's just a standard SD card. And what we can do is we can put that into the side of the camera, and then I can select the file. So I'll show you. So I'll move the streaming bridge over here, and the adapter. And what I'll do is I'll do that now. Now we need to load the file in the streaming settings. So if you can get the overhead here, I can move across to the menu and to get to the streaming settings. Oops, I went past. There it is there. You can see those settings are actually pretty similar to what the web presenter has. Now what we need to do is we need to set load the settings here. That's set to YouTube currently, so we need to switch across. And there it is there, streaming bridge demo. So that's the settings off the file. Now the camera knows where the streaming bridge is on the internet. It's also worth noting that the IT guys here have opened up the network to the streaming bridge here. So the streaming bridge is actually on the internet and the camera can see it on the internet. That's important because obviously remote cameras need to send data to it. So you need to open up your network to allow access to the streaming bridge. So let's start the streaming. So all I need to do is turn the streaming on. There it is there, and it'll start to do streaming. Now the streaming's up and running. It's sending out live video through the phone. The streaming bridge will then receive that stream and convert it back to video. And you can see the video appears on the multi-view behind us. There it is there. That's because the streaming bridge is now connected to this switcher. So you can see its remote camera. In fact, I think I've got the camera blocking here. I might move that out of the way a little. There it is there. Now you can see that camera, that's a completely remote camera. There's running on the battery with mobile data. Let's move it back to the overhead view.
Guys, it's happening,
so
guys.
You can see
happening.
It's really cool. So let's check out the camera control feature. So I've got the switcher program connected
really
to the streaming bridge here. But we need to set the camera number in the camera menu. Otherwise, the camera doesn't know what to do. So let's do that. So I'll turn off the stream and change the settings to the camera number. So if you go back, if you can go to this overhead view. There's a lot of settings in this camera. There's the camera number there. So we'll set it to camera 2, and we'll go back to our streaming settings. There it is there. We'll start our stream up. Now when the switcher the camera's set to camera 2 now, and now when the switcher tells camera 2 to do something, it'll follow it. So let's put the camera on air and we'll check it out. So let's have a look here. So if I switch the camera on air, you can see the tally light comes on. There it is there. It's pretty cool. You see the tally light up as I'm switching on and off. There's a slight latency, but it's really not very much. It's very, very fast as I switch. You can see it there. It's pretty cool. Now the control from the switcher is being sent back up the camera stream, back through the phone, back up into the camera. You can do this anywhere in the world. It's pretty cool. So let's try some camera control.
What?
In fact, actually, one thing it's also worth noting, if I take the menu off, you can see if I look at the overhead quickly, I'll just quickly mention this, I forgot to, is that you can see the tally ring on the LCD as well, and also when it's on preview, you can see it goes to green. So you've actually got the preview tally on the screen, which is nice. Now you can do this with a control panel, and I'll show it with the control panel, but you can do this with the ATEM software control. The software control comes with every ATEM switcher and it's free. So it's pretty cool. Essentially it doesn't cost anything to really do this. But let's do it with the control panel behind me. So as I adjust the iris, the lens will follow. So this is channel 2 here. So as I adjust it, you can see that it follows. I can also do autofocus. Up the top here, I've got an autofocus button. Let's move the iris back up a bit. There it is there. It's pretty cool. It's all working. And I can even adjust color tint with the knobs. I've got color tint controls here. So I can, put a bit of red in. There it is there. This is all happening. This camera's hanging off a phone and I'm doing remote color correction. It's pretty nice. It's really exciting. The controller's a bit more latency than the Tally.
Guys.
There's a little bit of latency there, but
Wow,
it works. It's really exciting.
wow.
Of course,
This
it's
is
also
real
worth thinking
fire.
about mobile data. Often when you're in busy, chaotic sort of live events, the cell phone network can become pretty saturated. So you really will need to test solutions for mobile data because you want to really check that out. You need reliable internet for this to work well. Also, there's one other interesting note is if you are recording H65 or H64 while you're streaming as a remote camera, it'll record the streaming quality. That's because H64 and H65, the codec, it's the same codec you use for recording and streaming. So if you really want high quality recordings while you're streaming, obviously you can pick a high quality H64 and 5, but you have to stream that. But you could choose Blackmagic RAW and ProRes, and you can record that in the camera while you're actually live streaming the H64 or 5. So I'm really excited by this feature. I think it makes it so easy for remote cameras to do camera control and tally. Now this software update to make all this work will be available early next year. We're working really hard on it though, but when it's released it'll be a free update for the camera. So that's about it for today's update. I hope you like these new products and they help you out. I can't wait to see how they're used as normal. It's always really exciting to see that. So take care and thanks for watching this update.
Wow, guys. That was some fire. Man. Wow, if you're watching live, let me know. Seeing some guys, some people here in the chat. Let me see what's going on right now. Man, wow. Let me take off my headphones for now. But guys, wow, this was fire. Blackmagic throwing in some fire. Today's my autofocus is not doing well. I'm so disappointed in my camera. Hey, come on, man, focus. Yeah, so let me see what you guys saying. Let me see. We've got Champ now. I don't know if you're still here. Thanks for joining the stream, man. I appreciate you. He's saying back to camcorders. Yes. Usually I don't like camcorders, but any camcorder that can change lenses, that is interchangeable lens, I'm a big fan, because the only reason why I hate camcorders is the fact that you cannot change lenses, and when you're stuck with one lens, it's a problem, because let's say if you're live streaming in a low light situation, you're stuck with it. I also hate the fact that the dynamic range on camcorders, most of them is really bad, okay? But when it comes to cinema cameras, I'm a big fan. So that's why I am a big fan of this Blackmagic new URSA Broadcast G2. Man, this is exciting. I can see a lot of people making big studio setups with this camera. I mean, like, I was talking about it on my previous stream, how live streaming is going to change. That, I don't know if you guys watched my video, the video that I did for my tech tour at Lakewood Church. You see those big cameras they cost a lot of money, and I know a lot of people have been wanting to buy this kind of cameras and this kind of lenses, and I feel like Blackmagic is taking the high-end cameras and it is making it like very affordable for people like us, for basically people on budget. Like, this camera is only $4,000, man. Like, I just can't believe it. Let me see. We got live living in full effect. Thank you for joining the stream. Always wanted that feature with the USB controls ever since I saw it from the studio camera. And we got Caribbean present again. Cloudford, welcome to the stream. We got live again. What a blessing. Yes, Blackmagic is being a blessing to all of us right now. So excited about what Blackmagic is doing. Life living again. The value of this thing is in the hundreds of thousands. That's true. I agree with you. Blackmagic is making it affordable. By the way, you can take, I think, you can even take EF mount lenses, which is awesome, especially if you cannot afford those PL and B4 mounts. You can use your actual EF mount, which I believe with, let's say, the 70 to 200 and 200 to whatever, like whatever lens you may have in EF, you can use it for on these cameras, and you're gonna be ready to go. Let's see. For only 5,000 with all the extras. Yes, man, with only $5,000 you can get a super powerful camera that can actually live stream. Sorry, it can live stream on its own. I was talking about it in my previous stream. Like with this camera, you can live stream on it can stream on its own, which is really good. And plus, you can use the streaming bridge to send the signal from the camera to the streaming bridge, and then the streaming bridge will be able to actually send the stream to the ATM Mini or any other switcher that can take the streaming bridge. So this is like for people who are doing news and stuff like that, that would be fantastic. But I can see this being used for if you're doing events and somebody gotta stay somewhere like far from the actual switcher, or in a venue where you kind of have to go get something remotely, maybe outside, some reaction, some red carpet. If you're doing some red carpet, this will be useful because you can plug in your phone and have the camera streaming directly into your switcher back in the building, and that's fantastic. You know, for like under $5,000, guys, think about it. Still out of my reach. Now I understand if you cannot afford it, 4,000 is a lot of money, but for people who are looking into features like what this camera can is offering, man, this was like a 20, 30,000, 40,000 camera kind of thing. You couldn't get this kind of features without spending that kind of money. Maybe 15-ish thousand, 15, 20-ish, you know. So this is giving you like 100% full broadcast features, and the sensor is 6K, I believe. Let me check. Let's just double check it a bit. Let me go to the Blackmagic website right now just to show you guys. Just to show you little quick. This is amazing, guys. This is amazing. Blackmagic is doing some crazy stuff right now. So this is the camera right now. New Blackmagic URSA Broadcast G2. And if you go down, and we got it's available now. And let's go to specs. Let's go to specs little quick for you guys to just to have an idea of what we're dealing with right now. Come on, come on, come on. Where are my specs? There we go. So effective sensor size, 2x3-inch sensor size with using 4K B4 mount, actual sensor size, and they say the sensor size, the mount. It can take EF, so it can take electronic control via 12-pin broadcast connector control with via EF mount. So you have an option to use EF if you chip, and you other than that you can use B4, and 12 stops of dynamic range, dual native ISO, and we got H265 shooting resolution. You got Ultra HD up to 60 frames per second. This is like, wow, man, you know, think about it. So this will be like your film camera, and this will be your film camera at the same time it will be your live streaming camera, your production camera. This is like your everything camera, guys. Think about it. You got an Ultra HD 4K sensor. I think it's 5K actually sensor. Yeah, it's 5.3K sensor exactly. So like the sensor is good. you can live streaming straight from the camera. That's like, wow, you know. Let me see what the chat is saying. I've been wanting to get live view, which is easily, yep, dollars for a loan. This is just 5K with all the features. This is unbelievable. Yes, man, I'm like you. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Honestly, this is unbelievable. And let's see. BMK, awesome. Yes, man, this is an awesome release from Blackmagic. So happy for what Blackmagic is doing. I was talking about Blackmagic earlier, and actually talking about how we need to have built-in live streaming within the camera, and they have started doing it because you can live stream from this camera. So this is really, really good. So let's see. This camera and the new feature is the future. Absolutely, 100%. I agree with you. This is the future of live streaming, and I believe that this is going to change the game. So again, I say, people, if you want to set up your live stream, you can set up a budget. Again, I don't know what you do, but if you have like a 20-30K budget, put it aside for your live stream. You can build an entire system using Blackmagic stuff. And I hate my autofocus right now. Come on. This is the GH5, guys. Yeah, you can build the entire system using the Blackmagic design. Everything. You buy, let's say, 4 or 5 cameras from Blackmagic. So you can buy the one that they just announced. That's maybe, let's say, 5K each, right? With the minimal accessories they may need. So that's 25K, right? And then you add few lenses. You can use EF mount if you don't want to spend more money on the most expensive. So let's say another 10K for lenses. That's your 30K, right? And then you spend few money on streaming bridge and stuff like, you know, the switchers and stuff. So let's say another 10K for switching and connecting and all that kind of stuff. So under 40K, you have like a powerful professional studio. Under 40K, man, you know. And that's really like high-end studio. We're talking about high-end studio. Now you can always go with the cheaper cameras like the Studio 4K they announced this year as well. It's still a fantastic camera. It's a micro four third camera, so maybe if you feel like you're limited on low light, then maybe that's not a good choice. But again, you can make it work if you have good lighting as well. So guys, Blackmagic is changing the game. Hands down, yes, man. Hands down, Blackmagic. Hands down. Blackmagic is doing some black magic here, you know, man. Is the picture quality the same as the 6K? Well, I mean, I can't tell because I don't have it, but I'm assuming it's gonna be the same because it has a 5.3K sensor. So it has 5K sensor. It can shoot in Ultra HD 4K. So the sensor looks really like a good and promising sensor. So you should be good. It has 13 stops of dynamic range. I think I can show you guys right here on the specs. So as you can see here, it says it has 13 stops. So that's really good. And let's see. Yeah, it can shoot H264 codec and H265 Ultra HD 60 frames per second if you like some slow, especially if you're shooting some B-roll or some other footage, not necessarily for live streaming, you know. Yeah, of course you still got your full HD, so which is good. And it's got a screen, a 4-inch screen on it, and you can attach a lot of accessories that you can get from Blackmagic design as well. And it's gonna make it look like a super powerful studio camera, and it is very, very powerful studio camera. So Blackmagic is changing the game again. Hi, Mr. Victor. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining. Say, bro, let's buy this camera. Yes, I want this camera. But right now, I don't know if I can afford it or if I need it. That's another thing. If you don't need, please don't buy it, okay? Every time Blackmagic announces something, I just feel like I should go buy it, right? If I was buying everything that they announce, I would have my studio full of Blackmagic gear. But everything they announce, man, really, really good. Really, really good. Blackmagic is doing some good job. Say 6K. Yeah. Sorry. I think the sensor they say has 5.3. I don't know if that's what you meant, but the sensor is 5.3 if I'm not mistaken. It can shoot in ProRes, of course. All the juicy stuff, color, all the juicy color science from Blackmagic. So you got all that. So that's that, guys. Thank you guys for joining. Let's see. I think they use the same sensor as the 6K, probably, because I would have to double check on that. But yeah, it's amazing what Blackmagic Design is doing, guys. I'm super excited because I was talking about it, like the fact that you can live stream from the camera itself and then send it to the web. So basically you can either plug in some Ethernet cable or plug in some let's say your phone's data, and then send the signal to the streaming bridge somewhere in the building, depending on where you are, and actually use the stream bridge to connect to your switcher. So basically the camera is sending the signal to the streaming bridge, and the streaming bridge is sending the signal to the switcher, which the Blackmagic guy was actually able to show on the video. And then from there, again, my autofocus, and from there you'll be able to actually even control the camera. That's even fantastic. Like, think about it, guys. Think about it. Just 1 second, I need to fix my autofocus. Think about it, like, to be able to have a camera. So that means actually you can have a camera back in, say, in Africa or in Europe, because at the end of the day, the signal is being sent using internet, right? So somebody could be standing in Africa, if I understand well, or standing in Europe somewhere, and I could be sitting here in Canada with my switcher, and they could be sending me their signal using the streaming bridge, right? Using their data, just a normal streaming. So like the camera will be sending the information through the streaming bridge, and me standing here in Canada, I'll be able to see the camera. At the same time, I'll be able to send the information back to the camera using the streaming bridge and the camera's connection. So basically, like, I can color correct, do some color grading on the camera. So basically, I will do some camera control on it, focus, do a lot of cool stuff from my switcher standing or sitting here in Canada, and the camera will be back in Africa or Europe or in the States, anywhere. So that's guys, think about it. That's a lot. So people who do news, like, I can have some news studio here and have somebody like a reporter somewhere, I don't know, somewhere, anywhere in the world, and they will just be sending me whatever they're shooting into my studio for under $4,000, guys. Think about it. This is wild. But I see a lot of people are going to do the same thing. I feel like some other companies are going to copy this, because this technology is amazing. I see, great Sam. Frank, oh, Frank, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining. So if you just joined the stream, we're talking about the new Blackmagic design camera they announced for bigger studios. Or it doesn't have to be big. I can see churches getting to these kind of cameras. Like if you have a church, if you own a church, if you are a part of ministry, I think this camera should be something to consider. Okay, you gotta put some budget aside, and think about investing in cameras like this, especially if you want to build something really like a super powerful broadcast system for your church. I see this camera. I think this camera, it should be your number one go-to camera, because this is really powerful. Make sure you get good lenses, good switchers. I say, make sure you have, before you get into this kind of stuff, at least you have 5K kind of, 5K budget. 5K you should do. Sorry, 50K, not 5K, 50K. Because I'm looking at getting maybe, maybe 5 of those. And at least 5, right? You don't want to buy 5,000 camera and have 1 or 2, right? So you want to make sure you have at least enough money to buy at least 5 of those, and get accessories, and get all this stuff like switcher, good switcher that can take SDI, and some streaming bridge if you need that. I can see this actually replacing, especially for the streaming bridge thing. I can see this replacing. You see this HDMI wireless receivers, right? Like the Mars stuff and those kind of stuff. The Holy Land Mars. Like, I don't think if you have this kind of technology, let me think. Yeah, this is going to change the game, guys. This is going to change the game. I can see this because with this, basically you can send the signal to the streaming bridge, and the streaming bridge is sending to your switcher. So basically you don't need, again, I don't know, I would have to double check on the delay, but on the latency with it that comes with it. But this is gonna be a powerful solution for to replace these wireless receivers, because you can send the signal from actually any camera that can live stream. And that's what companies are going to start doing. So companies are going to start making cameras that can live stream on their own, and that's gonna change the game, because we may never need the wireless transmitters, So let's see. But so far, I love the game. The game is changing, and Blackmagic, of course, is taking the lead. Let's see, how is the chat doing? So guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this Blackmagic new camera, the URSA Broadcast G2. If you go to the Blackmagic website, again you can see all the specs there. It's got 5.3K sensor, and it can shoot Ultra HD 60 frames per second. It can shoot 120 per second in full HD, and 13 stops of dynamic range, and it can take EF mount lenses, and I believe B4 and PL lenses. It has built-in ND filters. That's really good, and yeah, that's amazing. The most exciting feature, of course, is the ability to live stream on its own. So, which means you can send a live feed from the camera to any streaming bridge. I don't know. Actually, they mentioned about being able to live stream on YouTube. on its own, but the fact that it's one camera, that's where it gets a little like, who would want to live stream on YouTube with one camera? But again, it's possible. So if it's possible, why not? If you are in a situation where you need to live stream with one camera, if you could do it within the camera, why not do it? So that's a nice and exciting features. And again, as I said, a lot of companies are going to start doing this kind of stuff, but Blackmagic is taking the lead. So I appreciate that about the Blackmagic design. So if you're new here, consider joining the family by subscribing to live production tips and tools. We talk about live streaming for churches, social media content creators, all the cool stuff, cameras, switchers, Blackmagic design, and anyone else who's in the broadcast and live streaming game. Plus, we talk about software and stuff. So if you're new here, consider joining the family by subscribing. Other than that, I appreciate you guys being here on this special stream. If you have some comments, questions, last questions, let me know. Put them in the chat before I leave the stream. It's been really cool actually having you guys here and talking about this 6K live streaming camera from Blackmagic design. Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Yeah, so guys, yeah, if you don't have any questions, I may be ending the stream soon. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Just take a little bit, take a look at the chat a little bit. Yeah guys, so I mean, again, before I end, I was talking in my earlier stream, I was talking about how the live stream is going to change. The live streaming game is going to change 5 years from now. I think everybody will be live streaming, everyone, and companies are going to bring in new technology. This live streaming thing using one camera, this is just the beginning. This is like this live streaming thing of like this how do I say it? This live streaming option, having a live streaming option within your camera, it's just the beginning. It's going to change, and a lot of companies are going to start doing it. And I can see companies like Sony, companies like Panasonic, companies like Canon, start doing this kind of stuff. And they're going to actually, I think we're going to have this option in mirrorless cameras as well. It's coming. Mark my words, it's coming. It's going to happen. And probably we're gonna have an option to live stream using multiple cameras without using a switch, an actual physical switcher. I don't know, but I'm assuming it's gonna come as well, where we have maybe all the cameras connected via some sort of network and connect to a computer with an app, something like that, and be able to just switch from cameras, from camera 1 to camera 2 or camera 3. So I feel like the live streaming game is going to change a lot. And new technology is going to change the game. So guys, again, thank you for joining. I enjoyed this announcement of Blackmagic. Again, I'm gonna put the actual video in my description for you guys if you ever want to check it out for yourself, if you joined after the announcement video. But other than that, I'm super excited about this camera, and I'm super excited about the future announcements from Blackmagic. They announced at the beginning, they also announced few SDI converters, SDI to HDMI and HDMI to SDI, and they're all cool. Very, very low price. That's what I love about Blackmagic. But at the same time, yeah, I really like the feature that this camera can actually send information, so from the switcher or from the camera control room back to the camera, even if you're using it wirelessly or remotely using the streaming bridge, and just using your phone, just your phone connected to the camera using data, or any other router that has some sort of data, connect to the camera, boom, and the camera is ready to talk to the switcher. That's amazing, guys. Let's just be honest. This is really, really good. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. It's 2022 is coming, and new cool stuff. I'm excited. I don't know what Blackmagic is going to announce next year, but it's gonna be exciting. Probably a new ATM Mini. I don't know. They may be announcing a new ATM Mini. I don't know. Maybe with HDI version, or some sort of add some sort of monitor on it or something. I don't know what they're going to announce, but camera wise, I think they're killing it in every single area. So again, super grateful for Blackmagic, even though they're not sponsoring me, but super, their stuff is always exciting. So guys, thank you for joining the stream. Looks like the chat is quiet. I appreciate you being here. Today I had a bad day. My autofocus is just my camera is going out of focus every single minute. The camera goes out of focus. I don't know why, but again, I'm using the GH5. I've decided to use the GH5 on my live streams to test its autofocus. My firmware is up to date. I've optimized all the my menu just to make sure that the autofocus feature is kind of optimized to the max, and sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, and sometimes I am embarrassed by it. So today was that day that the autofocus doesn't want to collaborate. So today I'm very, very frustrated because of my autofocus on the GH5. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing it. I don't know why. Sometimes I didn't change anything. Sometimes it works fine, and like I never go out of focus, and then other time it just goes out of focus just out of nowhere. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the writing behind me. I don't know if it's the background. I don't know if it's the contrast. I know it's a contrast based autofocus, so it's kind of predict depending on the contrast of whatever it's seeing. But at the same time, I did not change anything, you know. Like if I stand still, let's see. Now it's working. Anyways, yeah, so guys, that's my GH5 issues right there. But other than that, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining the stream. I will see you on my next one. Today was a surprise stream, actually, after my actual regular stream. I'll be back on Monday. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments what you want me to talk about on Monday. But I'm going to be here on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's meet again and talk about live streaming and video recording. Let's talk about cameras, switchers, software, everything live streaming and video recording. Thank you guys. My name is Sam again, live production tips and tools, and I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Take care.